What exactly is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a money system, we call the monetary system, that runs on software. And Bitcoin is software that works like a spreadsheet. And that spreadsheet manages my Bitcoin, it manages your Bitcoin, and most importantly, it makes sure that the total amount of Bitcoin in the system does not exceed 21 million. That Bitcoin software runs on computers, those computers connect to each other, and make exact copies of who owns how much Bitcoin until there are more than 100,000 Bitcoin computers worldwide, all with the same numbers. Those are called Bitcoin nodes. And the Bitcoin software has hard-coded rules about who owns what and the enforcement of that 21 million Bitcoin limit. First, who owns what? If I have the private key of a Bitcoin, it's protected at a security level unheard of in the rest of the world. It would take more than 1 billion trillion years to crack one Bitcoin private key. And if you have a Bitcoin private key, or if that key is managed by you, by Coinbase or Binance or someone else, then you can send or spend your Bitcoin in the real world. And those numbers of who owns what are replicated across every computer in the Bitcoin system. And every one of those computers is making sure that there will never be more than 21 million. This is a direct quote out of the Wall Street Journal. The computer code behind Bitcoin is hard-coded with a hard cap of 21 million coins. And straight from the White House of the United States, when they established a strategic Bitcoin reserve, the protocol limits the total supply to 21 million coins. So 21 million is all there is. There will never be more Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin software that runs on Bitcoin nodes is hard-coded to disconnect anyone who tries. So if you change the software to be more than 21 million, you are rejected from the network and kicked off. Bitcoin is ultimately your money divided by 21 million, and no one can change that, which is why Bitcoin is going up in value over time. The US dollar is your money divided by infinity, because they will never stop printing dollars, which is why the dollar is perpetually down. And now you have the ability to make that choice. And the first question people have when they make that choice is often, okay, it's better money, it's a better system, but what about volatility? The dollar is more stable, but going down. Bitcoin is more volatile, but going up. Why is Bitcoin volatile? Well, newsflash, the world is volatile. And prices of everything in the world respond to what the world is doing. And we are still very early in the adoption cycle of Bitcoin, similar to the very early days of social media, online banking, and the internet. And when you're that early, and Bitcoin represents such a small percentage of the assets that are owned, then Bitcoin is like a small boat in a big ocean. It goes up and down with the waves of every little thing. As more people adopt Bitcoin, Bitcoin gets bigger. And eventually it will be like a big ship on a big ocean without the volatility. In the meantime, the volatility is your friend and it's in your favor. Over time it goes up, and if you zoom out to even 3 years, on a rolling 3-year basis, any 3-year time period is almost 100% up. It is a better money, it is a better system. That is my best shot of explaining Bitcoin in the simplest possible terms, and we now have this choice between the tale of two systems, and I am so thankful for the transformational effect that Bitcoin has had in my life and everyone that chooses the better system with better money. Thank you all so much.